$19 billion liquidated. This has to be the biggest crypto crash and the biggest crypto crash since ATH. So what's good, mother fluffers? Welcome to this week's Edge, where I break down the charts on BTC and the crypto market in general. So no hype, just true numbers. Let's get straight into it. So I've not traded for 2 weeks there about now, before this previous chat. So first off, before we get into the technical part of this chart, just to make mention of every time there's a crazy dump in the crypto market, there's always another and another. It's almost like the first dump gives room for a retracement, then another dump, then another dump. So a couple of weeks back, we had something like this. It was not as much as this. Then here's another one. So in this week's hedge, we'll be looking at what caused the $19 billion liquidation, how the US government shutdown amplified it, and the real state of Bitcoin at the moment after this drop. Then the key fundamentals and setups we're going to look at this week. So it's crazy. I don't know. A couple of times when I call a short or something to actually look at, somehow I don't take it. Let's just say 80% of the time I don't take whatever calls or whatever dump I'm certain that would happen. It just makes me stay out of the market easily. I just know when to stay out of the market. 80% of the time. So let's first look at what caused this $19 billion liquidation. So again, every time there is I'm speaking based on historic data, something I've seen happen from time to time. Every time there is a tariff being imposed on the United States to one country, it shakes the market, and it's often a dump. It results in a dump most of the time. And that was what happened. The United States imposed 100% tariffs on China, and China in retaliation dumped every single Bitcoin they had. Imagine the United States government dumping every BTC they have. It's going to crash the fucking markets than even this. But then the tariff was what caused this, and amplifying that was China dumping their Bitcoin, literally everything. There are, I wouldn't really say rumors, but then there's like genuine evidence backing this shit up that a trader opened a short position, I guess 30 minutes before this dump happened, and it was more like a crash, a flash dump actually. So we already know what caused this dump. TV players, they never lose. They just never lose. It all comes down to retail traders like losing their money in the market. So every time there's a dump, it's always the retail traders that get to follow the market. The $19 billion is from the retail traders. It's never the institutions. So these guys are on another level. I hope someday I'll get to this stage. So the US government shut down last week also, and shutting down literally means the government workers would not work. And from the headline, it's more like they'll be laying off a couple of government workers in the United States. I don't know the exact amount, but I don't know the exact amount. So the US government shut down, and shutting down literally means they would not work, right? And a couple of news fundamentals that are supposed to come out real fast would not we will not have specific data on them. So that's about the US government. Coming to this week, it's a crazy liquidation. Then the real state of BTC. Let's just get into technicals right now. So I think it was September, I called the short on AVAX to about $15. We have that like happening right now. And something on MYX from $19 to about $1. That happened also. But looking at BTC now, from one of my previous videos, I made mention of how I'm not certain whether we would keep pushing up, but I'm very certain we're going to come down to 65K thereabouts where Trump got elected from. So I was looking to take a shot from the previous ATH, which is somewhere around 123K. I mentioned in my video. But we had a new ATH, and thankfully I didn't take the shot. I don't know, I just didn't take it. Like I said, I've not traded for about I've not executed my trades for about 2 weeks now. I've just been on my hands. And we have a new ATH on 126K, something around that price. And well, what we have on BTC is crazy. And honestly, I just think there would be more. Honestly, I just think there would be more. Like looking at the charts from here, if we are touched easily 99K or 98 around the zone, I'll probably say we'll push from here. But here is just like a random zone. We flash dumped to this zone. I was expecting this to happen also, but not this fast. A flash dump, right? And it's not even to a demand zone where we can easily buy from. That being said, I just think we'll probably still come down. If we're coming down, I'll be looking at 98K level and 92K level. I'm most certain that these zones too would probably not hold also. And if everything happens real fast, we should be looking at 77K to come into for a buy from there. And if the worst comes to the worst, the 65K initial zone I was looking at would probably just happen. And on BTC, since we have a new ATH now, and we had a flash dump, I think what a lot of people will be looking at is a bearish sentiment. As it is right now, a lot of people are scared. Now, putting that into factor, people being scared, having a flash dump, people losing crazy amount of money. I honestly think a lot of people would be bearish also. Now, that's more like sentiments. Knowing a lot of people will be bearish should, most of the time, I just trade the opposites if it factors in with my technicals. If it factors in with my technicals, I trade the opposite of what everyone thinks would happen. And it works for me, honestly. So BTC right now, we can't really say a buy would happen from here. But from 114K, I think we would have a very easy sell back to a demand zone. Like I said, somewhere around 98, 92K. Then was to look at 75, 65K. But I sell at market price, this current structure would just look good. But because I don't use FVG as my entries, but it's giving a confirmation for a sell, I think that would just happen real fast. So on AVAX, yep. Like I said, my bias was we sell to $15 and we touched somewhere around the zone. And I didn't set limit on it, thankfully also. So again, every time there's a sell, and it's more like a sweep, a flash dump, a sweep that breaks demand, we're looking at the demand that was supposed to be expected is what we're coming in to pick now. So $15 is still very valid to take a buy from. It will probably just come down, pick this demand and push up just the same initial setup, since the flash dump was just a clear sweep. That's on AVAX. Then Dodge also, I was just sure would come down. And on Dodge, it looks very much like this demand already got respected after I got swept, but I would not be looking at this zone again for a buy. I'm not looking at that zone again for a buy. Probably somewhere around the air, but it's not a clear setup. Once I have a clear setup and a confirmation, I'll share that in my next video. MYX, I don't know. I just fuck with this coin so much. I was telling someone we would touch $1 on MYX easily, not knowing it would happen so fast. So on MYX, I'm looking to take like this 128 RR setup on MYX. So I'm looking to buy from 1.02 back to $17. Now, if this happens, it should be like a crazy run. Well, let's see what happens from here. The chart is totally different. This is the chart on Bybit. The chart on Binance, rather. This zone got swept. So I'll just go with the one on Bybit. Unless the thing could come down back to $15, $17. I mean, if we can dump easily from $17 to $1, I see no reason why we can't push up from $1 back to $15. So I'll be taking this. I'll definitely be taking this. SLOTP. One is definitely going to eat. So these are the two things I'm looking out for: AVAX and MYX this week. Now, on IPUSDT, I don't have any buyer specifically on it, but what I'm looking at is a sell from $58, I bet, back to, I don't know, who knows, back to maybe $10. I mean, that's the worst that can happen, somewhere around $10, but to be safe, we can just have it at $20. But a sell from $58 would definitely do. That's if we don't have some sort of ATH on it again. But from $58, we're looking at a clear sell. So apparently the chart is not really clear as such this week, and it has not been. Honestly, it has been like a crazy choppy price action even before this dump. That's why I just stayed out of the market. I didn't see anything to trade, and I felt, well, it's okay to stay out of the chart and trading what you don't even know anything about. So this is it on BTC and the market for the week. And like I said, I think we'll still have more dump, probably a slow one, not a flash dump like this again. But I think the price action going into this week and the coming week would be a choppy one. Not really clear, but let's see how it goes. So let's see how far we can go before the year runs out and in the first quarter of the coming year. So I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace out.